Hi, I'm still Jeremy. Let's go biking to see the sunset. Okay, here's today's plan. I'm here in a place called Tanimachi Yonchome, which is out sort of in central Osaka, sort of west central Osaka. And I'm going to go all the way through the city to the western edge. I'm on the east central and I'm going to the western edge as far as I can go on bicycle to see the sunset. So that is going to be a spot called Ōsaka Station. That's the nearest train station. But I'm on the bicycle. So I hope I make it in time. I hope the sunset is nice. Those are basically the two things I'm kind of worried about. It's about 5:30 now or something, 5:20, and the sun's supposed to set at 7. I don't know how long it takes to bike through the city like this, all the way across. But I do know that it is rush hour, and do I have enough time to make this intersection? Yikes. Excuse me, everybody. Okay, so it's rush hour, so especially the next 2 or 3 stations are going to be very, very busy. The sidewalks are going to be looking just like this, lots of people. And I'm going to be dangerously weaving in and out of them, trying to get through as fast as I can to see the sunset. It was originally forecast to be rather cloudy tonight, and it still is supposed to be cloudy, but I think that means a little bit overcast, and the sunset over the water might still be nice. It's all a gamble, and I hope it works out. So I'm putting in all this effort. I used to live in this area, and it's probably still my favorite area. Just really nice grid of streets. The buildings are kind of big and impressive and new, but it has kind of a down-home neighborhood feel to all the streets around here. It's the other thing about getting through here at this time of day, or any time of day, is there's so many lights. I'm going to get caught by a lot of red lights. So I have to think of things to talk about. So, what's been going on with you? I'm actually not really sure if I should be out biking right now. My blood sugars have been very good for the last 4 days in a row. No readings over 200 for about 4 days. Until today, about 3 p.m. I checked, and my meter said it was like 313 or something over 300. And I thought, really? That could be true, but I didn't quite trust it. So I checked again right after that, and it said 255. And I thought, well, that seems a little bit more plausible. But I wanted to have a little snack of a brownie and coffee. So I took 4 units of Humalog, ate the brownie, which was 30 grams of carbs. And then right before this ride, that was like 2 hours ago, right before this bike ride, I was 94. And I thought, well, that's a little bit too low if I'm going to just start a big bike ride. So I had a bunch of juice. And I'm not sure that was enough. Well, definitely wasn't enough, but got a bunch of stuff with me. A bunch of chocolate bars and juice and glucose powder packets. So don't worry. Okay, here we're going to come into the busy section. Not only is it busy, but I think the sidewalks are pretty narrow down here, right in the busiest part. So this will be exciting. And unlike all of these people, thanks to the coronavirus, I'm not working. I'm not getting any salary. So, unlike these people, who have put in a good day's work and are now going home, I've been goofing around all day, and now I'm going out to see the sunset. The good thing about biking on the sidewalks in Osaka, or in Japan, is that people generally do what you would think they would do. They're walking in straight lines, so they're not going to suddenly lurch left or right, so you can sort of go at some kind of speed, even in crowds. But there are some who will be wandering or lurching or, one way or the other. And I have a mask with me in my bag, but I'm not wearing it because wearing masks outside is not really considered too important here. You see some people doing it, but a lot of people not doing it. The way to say I'm sorry in Japanese is gomen. I always thought it was funny that this store is called Gomen. It's a different Gomen. I think it's Gomen, and I'm sorry is Gomen. So the O sound is longer. Or vice versa, something like that. Chocolate time. The Hard Rock Cafe. I've never been to any Hard Rock Cafe in my life. I generally am a classic rock kind of guy, but not really in that sense. Blues rock and chicken wings and whatever all that stuff is. And this is Honmachi. This is what I consider sort of the center, the real middle of the downtown area. Actually, now that I notice, there's more people with masks than without, I think. So, I haven't actually taught any English classes since April 1st. Today is June, so that means for that whole time I haven't gotten any money, because the way my job works is I only get money when I actually teach classes. So they've all been postponed. So I've been relying on savings and trying to use the time, the downtime, to make lots and lots of YouTube videos. And that's going fairly well, I guess. It's fun. It's certainly fun making all the YouTube videos. It's not real lucrative for me yet, but it's fun. So making actual videos about like Amtrak trains in America, which I was going to do last month until the coronavirus canceled everything. I had all these, that little car. Had all these train tickets and stuff, and plane tickets and hotels and stuff, all set up. I'm going to take cameras and dash cams and all kinds of stuff and record the whole journey and edit it together like I like to do, but had to cancel it all. Had to get all my money back. And by the way, Amtrak gave me the money back immediately. That was the biggest expense, and they gave me all the money back just when I asked, although the trains were technically still running. All the hotels and Airbnb, they gave me the money back immediately. It was only United Airlines, which waited and waited and waited, but finally they did too. I contacted them on Twitter with a DM. And that went on for about a month. They're like, yeah, you'll get it back. Oh, wait, no, you won't. Okay, maybe you will. Okay, maybe you won't. And finally, it's like, give it back now. And the next day, they're like, all right, you got it. So anyway, instead of doing that trip, I've been making Amtrak videos, and I've been making some videos about some of my past trips based on what my blood sugars were on those trips, especially in Europe. I've enjoyed making them and sticking to a good YouTube schedule, you know, uploading very regularly. And now, with these bike rides, I've figured out a way to sort of get out and make fun videos without having to really travel anywhere. So I can still bike around my city here. And I think it's quite fun. I'm really enjoying making these. This is Ōsaka Station, not Kujo yet, Ōsaka. I was actually kind of hoping for some clouds because I got my nice cameras and stuff. I'm gonna take some pictures and video of the sunset and everything. I was hoping for a few clouds just to make it kind of dramatic and interesting. There may actually be no clouds at all, which is nice, but a different kind of sunset. Is the light green? Is the light green? It is not. Rats. I've always liked this intersection ever since I've lived in Osaka. It's just I've never figured out because I don't drive here, so I don't really know where all these roads go. But impossibly complex. A few years ago, I walked this whole thing from where I'm going, which is Ōsaka Station. I started there and I walked all down the green Chuo subway line, which here is underground because it's a subway line. But I walked all the way that way, all the way to I think Nagata Station, which is the last station before the mountains. I walked every single subway line in Osaka except the longest one. I was building up from the shortest to the longest. The longest is the red line, Mito Suji. I've always planned to do it, I just haven't gotten to it yet. That'll be the last one whenever I finally get to it. And I did make videos for the first 3 or 4. They're kind of cool. Did it with an iPhone 4 at the time. iPhone 4, mostly pointed like the rear-facing camera, which is the worst. So from a modern perspective, it's atrocious quality, but what can you do? Charmingly old school, let's say. There's actually no beach in this part. This, well, anywhere in Osaka really is not a beach per se, it's just a concrete wall. But that doesn't stop the sunset from being cool. Okay, this is the area that is really out of downtown. This is just a big, flat, long, I don't know, residential, I guess, area? Huh. How am I supposed to get across this? Uh-oh. I think I've done something wrong. Maybe she knows what she's doing. Follow her. I don't get it. Follow the sun. A little bit turned around. If the sun is that, should I go straight here or should I? Yeah. That's the thing about the Chuo line is you can see it here. It's not underground. Just go where that came from. I wonder who else will be there when I get there. There's usually a few people. Sometimes they're fishing, sometimes they're just wandering around watching the sunset and stuff. I've been there a few times. Last time I was there was a couple years ago. And I was taking pictures of the moon, the crescent moon setting over the water after the sunset. I always thought this part of Osaka has kind of a Florida feel because it's real flat, it's near the water, and you can't really tell that being on the street, but it's just kind of what I imagine it to be because I know it's near the water. There's a dog in that bag. That was a toy at first. But it's sentient. That's a good life. Hang out in the bag while someone else bites you around. About 3 years ago, I bought a camera, a Canon EOS camera. I became obsessed with the moon, following it and learning about its phases and its schedule and everything, and going out to various places and taking pictures of it. Kind of what we're doing tonight, but with the sun. All right. Time for a check, I think. Okay, in front of this garage door, there's some privacy. I'm nervous about this check. It ought to be around 200. I wish it was around 200, but it feels more like it's about 50. I was going to say about the one drop, the meter. Hold on, so I got to tell you in a second. It is 80. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. 80. Time for some juice. I can live with that. Literally. I was going to tell you, when I checked earlier and it was 300 something, I didn't trust it. That's because like my blood sugar meter is actually called one drop. And all it takes is one little drop of blood. But I think my drop was way too small. And the one drop meter, let's go. The one drop meter can handle pretty small drop sizes, but there is such a thing as too small. So I didn't try. It seems to be, if you have a way too small drop of blood, sometimes it'll have a much higher reading than normal. I don't know why that would be. You'd think it would be lower, but anyway. A couple weeks ago I checked and it was 400 and I was shocked. I thought it might be high, but nowhere near that high. And it was a really small drop of blood, so I checked again and it was like 280 or 270 or something. I don't have any tattoos, but maybe this is my chance. I mean, I've come all this way. Okay, here's Kujo Station. There's an angry satanic dog that lives here. That's why they call it Kujo. When I first came to Japan in 2004, there was a store called Tsutaya. Like a video kind of blockbuster type store. They would sell CDs and stuff. They also rented CDs out. And even then, that seemed very anachronistic. It seemed odd anyway, like renting CDs. What kind of business model is that? People rent them and then they copy them. It was right in the height of the Napster days and everything. But they were doing it, and they were still doing it, and they might still now be doing it. Everybody thinks of Japan as a super high-tech place, and it's got a lot of high-tech stuff, but I don't know. It's a lot of old stuff. So they might still be renting, certainly selling them, CDs. That's a big business here still, I think. They might be renting CDs out. A lot of people still use fax machines, and occasionally I'll get asked, if I'm filling out an application for something, I'll get asked what my fax number is. I'm like, fax number? Nuts? I don't have a fax number. Haven't you heard of PDF? But there's that. If you go to the dollar store here, which are ubiquitous, they still sell cassettes, like audio cassettes. I have no idea who's using them, but those stores, those dollar stores, 100-yen stores, are very, very popular. I go to them all the time. You get a lot of good stuff there for $1, and so the shelf space, is kind of at a premium. I'm going. But for some reason, it's viable for them to still stock cassettes and CDRs, but so I'm interested to know what your comments are about this video and about this bike ride, so please fax them to me. One of the weird things about Japan to me is that there's no public trash cans and there's no trash on the street. I've asked Osaka people about that before, people that were born and raised here. And they say, oh yeah, Osaka's so dirty, it's just garbage everywhere, it's so dirty. And I never see it. As soon as I say that, here's a pile of trash. Although that's actually out there for trash areas, so it's got a net on it. That's not what I'm talking about. But one reason that there's everybody's drinking plastic bottles. Me and everybody else. And one reason there's no plastic bottles everywhere is because at just about every vending machine, there's a little receptacle for a bottle. So you buy a drink at one machine, you drop it off at the next machine. People seem to do that. I certainly do. And somehow, that keeps the trash off the streets. Oh, Ben Tencho, I forgot about that station. So we're not as close as I thought. Oh boy. Oh, and let's see, I can't get across here. I have to go underground to get across. Let's see, how does this work? Bike in the middle, walk on the side. Glad I brought my nice shoes for this. So come down here to this underground passage and try to keep going the direction you were going in and you get confused. Getting worried about the sunrise now. I don't know what time it is. I guess I got plenty of time. Absolutely one of my favorite things about Japan is how extremely pedestrian friendly it is. This is kind of a grungy, pain in the ass way to get around, but it's here. Other places, other countries, and other places I've been, there wouldn't be anything. And it's nice. People are in my way. Bentencho is a place where a lot of foreigners live, and I've never wanted to live here because it's kind of handy. It's a nice place to live because it's on a couple train lines, but I used to teach English to a retired high school teacher, and his hobby was kind of researching earthquakes. which I'm paranoid about. And he's been looking at past earthquakes in this area and predicting what's going to happen when the next big one comes, the Nankai Trough. Sometime within the next 30 years or something, they say, a huge one's coming. And if there's a big tsunami like there has been in the past, all of this area here will be under several meters of water and millions will be killed. And he says there's no plan. People must know that. He knows it. He believes it. And I don't really even like being in this area. Not for long. Not for longer than I have to be. So I don't want to live out here. Back where this trip started, back in Tanimachi Yonchome, that's up on the Uemachi Plateau. And it's probably safe from any reasonably likely tsunami. It's much farther inland and it's much higher. If the tsunami gets you there, well, it just wasn't your day. Driving school. This driving school, there are lots of these driving schools, a lot more than you see in America, because getting your driver's license in Japan for Japanese people is much, much, much more complicated than it is for Americans getting it in America. When I first came here, somebody said, I was talking to one of my students, and I said, so how was your weekend? And they said, oh, it was great, I got my driver's license. And I was like, oh, I'm curious about that. How much does it cost to get a license here? And they said, oh, about $3,000, whatever that is in yen. And I thought he misspoke, because this is all English. He said, oh yeah, like 300,000 yen or whatever. And I said, no, you misspoke. You don't understand how numbers work in English. It's not 300,000 yen. It's like $3,000? Of course not. And he wrote it down on a piece of paper, like, this much? He said, yeah, that much. I said, what? So I did some asking around, and yes, it turns out you can't just go down and get a license for $10 like you can in America. Take a little test on a little computer or whatever, and maybe a simple little driving test, and that's it. Here, you have to get accredited, sort of. You have to go to one of those driving schools and take a course for whatever it is, several weeks, and that's what costs the thousands. Or a couple $1,000s, usually, something like that. So that's a requirement, and then they go get the license. So it's sort of this big, I guess it's for safety, but it seems kind of like some kind of scam to me, but sort of a systemic scam, there's nothing you can do about it. If I were to get a driver's license here, which I do want to do, I don't have to do that, because I have an American license, and I can't drive with my American license here, but I can get a Japanese license by doing some paperwork and going to some office once or twice or whatever it is. So one day I'll do that. It's not a big priority. Okay, now this is Asashi-Obashi. Asashi-Obashi Station. Next is my station. I'm on the wrong side of the road here. So what am I going to do if I'm out here doing this video and looking at this sunset tonight and I feel the big one and I'm outside, so I'm okay for the shaking and I just get knocked off my feet or something, but then I have to wonder, well, is there a tsunami coming? How do I get out of here quickly? It'll take me an hour to bike out. How long do tsunamis take? These are the sorts of things you have to worry about when you are living in Japan and you're paranoid. Let's go across. How's that going to look as the sun set? It'll look cool. Time-lapse might look cool. Better hurry. Better hurry, that's when I want to start. If I'm going to do a time-lapse video of the sunset, I need to start about now. This is good. So the farthest you can go if you're walking or on bicycle is kind of between Ōsaka Station and the final station, which is Cosmo Square. Funny how all the stations have Japanese names. Then the final one's called Cosmo Square. Although you have to say it Cosmo Square. Wow, the Ferris wheel's all lit up in the golden sun. If I do go to McDonald's for dinner, I think it's going to be an insulinless dinner. Here we go. I was going to demonstrate this back where I was talking about it. I forgot. Oh, look at the beautiful light. There's an aquarium and a big Ferris wheel in Ōsaka. Never been on the Ferris wheel. Never been on any Ferris wheel. I should go on that sometime. But I've been to the aquarium a few times, and it's nice. You can see them from where we're going to be. And they're going to look cool in the sunshine. All right, here we are. Five. Okay, that's it. I think it was a success. Thanks for watching. Please check out my other videos for stories from the road and travel tips and my experiences as a type 1 diabetic 1. See you on the road.